Good morning, good morning, good morning. This is Dr. Herbert Harris, and I want to welcome you to Success Mentorship class number 432. We have a number of people on Instagram. We have an entire group on YouTube, and we have the mastermind group on Zoom. So thank you so much for joining us today. Our topic for today is one that I think will literally change your life in every regard. And there's a question I think that we all ask, and that is this: how do I live my life in the way that I want it to be? Well, there are two choices about how you live your life. You can live your life by circumstance or by design. And that is our message for today as we speak about the balance between yesterday, today, and tomorrow as a way to create a blueprint for our lives to create the life we desire exactly the way we want it to be. This is Dr. Herbert Harris, and I invite you all to visit our website, herbertharris.com. I am the What's Next coach, that in your life, if you're wondering what the next steps are, what's the next phase of your life going to be like, reach out to me. Go to herbertharris.com and schedule a What's Next consultation. Before we get into our lesson for today, let us prepare our minds and do a meditation to help us get centered and connected with the vibration of this moment. So sit straight up in our seats. Let's close our outer eyes, open our inner eyes. Take a deep breath and hold it. Let it out slowly. Take a deep breath and hold it. Let it out slowly. And then the space of peace and relaxation. I am at peace with myself. Let us affirm that together. I am at peace with myself. Just let that peaceful state sink in. Take a deep breath. Let it out slowly. And then the state of peace and relaxation. My mind is open, receptive, and ready to learn. Let us affirm that together. My mind is open, receptive, and ready to learn. Take a deep breath. Let it out slowly. And so it is. Wow. I love to begin a topic with a quote that I think literally characterizes everything that we're talking about today. Charles Kettering said something very profound. He said, I am interested in the future because that is where I am going to spend the rest of my life. I'm going to say that again. I am interested in the future because that is where I am going to spend the rest of my life. Wow. Oh, that's a powerful quote, folks. And so when we think about this idea that we spoke about early of living a life by design or a life by circumstances, that is a choice that we make And based on that choice, that is the future life that we experience. So let us look at this. The idea is that we're on a journey through life. We literally live on the river of time. And on the river of time, it never stands still. And on this river of time, we can either be swept along by the river, doing whatever the river wants to do, and living a life of reaction to external stimuli, or we can live a life by design where we truly are the captain of our ship and the master of our destiny. So there are three very, very powerful constructs, very powerful realities that we experience this whole life through, and that is yesterday, today, and tomorrow. Yesterday, today, and tomorrow. Yesterday is the past. These are those experiences that shape us. Today is the present. The present represents the opportunities before us. And then tomorrow, which represents our future. And these are the possibilities waiting to unfold. So think about this. The future is always waiting to unfold, but you have a choice of the experience of that future based on whether you live your life by design or by circumstance. And so the quality of our lives really depends on how we negotiate, how we interpret these three dimensions. Some people are trapped in yesterday. They're stuck in past failures. Some people are so distracted today that they can't operate effectively. And then other people spend all their time dreaming about tomorrow and never do anything about it. When we learn how to balance yesterday, today, and tomorrow, we have the framework in which to create a blueprint for our lives that we can live joyously, prosperously, healthy, exactly the way we want it to be. So let's look at yesterday. Yesterday is our teacher. The past cannot be changed, but we can learn from the past. Someone once said, experience is our best teacher. But there's some people that keep going through the same thing over and over. So it's really evaluated experiences, analyzed experience becomes our best teacher. Many people get stuck in the weight of yesterday. They replay old failures, old disappointments, and they live a life of regret. They let yesterday's failures become today's limitations. I was watching the basketball game last night, and that last shot by the Wembanyama, the young man, and they had 2 seconds left, and he made the shot and missed. And it thought back on Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan had a quote, and he said that over his lifetime in basketball, he said 29 times he had been entrusted with the final shot and missed. And so that's what that young man at 24 is experiencing. But guess what? Michael also said, because I missed, it made me want to get better. And that made all the difference. So that experience for him yesterday is going to be a learning experience. So yesterday is really not meant to box us in, to imprison us, but it's really meant to educate us, to instruct us. We often talk about Thomas Edison, and when he was being interviewed about the fact they said that 10,000 experiments he had done and failed to find the filament for the light bulb. And he didn't look at it as failure. He didn't get locked in that, because if you get locked in that negative mindset, you'll probably never do another experiment. He said, no, I've never failed. I have successfully identified 10,000 ways that will not work. So what we learn from the past is every setback is really a setup for a comeback based on how we relate to it. When we look back, we're at the 250th anniversary of the country, and we look at President Abraham Lincoln. Now, here's a man that lost, he lost multiple elections. He was a failure at business. He had personal hardships, but all of those experiences prepared him for the greatness that he experienced. And so this is what yesterday is all about. Yesterday gives us the opportunity to look at what we've done, to say, hey, let me stop doing this. Let me start doing that. Let me change this. Let me drop that. Let me create a new framework. In other words, yesterday gives us instructions on how to act today. So these lessons are powerful because you learn what doesn't work, what does work. You learn who you are and who you are not. You learn what matters, and you learn how powerful you really are. Many times we are surprised at our own ability, our resilience, our ability to overcome no matter what. So the question is really not what happened yesterday. The question is, what did I learn from yesterday? You know, when we talk about the prodigal son, when he's in the pig pens of life, he would have stayed in that pig pen, but there's a point at which his mind made a flip, and he said, when he came to himself, he looked up, he arose and went to his father. And so this is saying that the past and all the circumstances, all the things that can happen, these things can be transforming to help you become better. So you don't want to repeat the past, because people who don't learn from the past are doomed to repeat it. But you want to use the past as a source of wisdom. Wow. The challenge with most people is they don't want to release the past. Many people want to hold on to old resentments, to old disappointments. And you know, one of the interesting things about having people around you, people often see you in the present or in the past. So very often, if the wrong people are around you and you're trying to make it to that next level, and they'll remind you of all the times you failed, all the times you didn't make it happen, all the dreams you said would happen and they didn't manifest. And so it's very careful, very important who you permit to be around your space, because these are things that can keep you reflecting on the past rather than learning from the past. Life is meant to be lived forward. The river of time is always moving. Your choice is how do you move on it. Even the scripture, there's a scripture that says, forgetting those things which are behind and reaching forth unto those things which are before. Scripture that says, don't worry about the past, go for the future. It doesn't mean erase the past. It's don't let the past control the present. Don't let the past control the future. So one of the great tools we have is to forgive ourselves for all the things we didn't do, all the disappointments in the past. Forgive others for whatever perceived wrongs you have that people have done against you. Forgive your circumstances. It doesn't matter where you were born. Joe talks about in his book, Up from the Ashes, you look at where he was born, like, wow, maybe I wouldn't want to be there. But where he ended up, aha, man, I'd love to be there. So every day you carry yesterday's hurts is a day that you give up today's power. So now let's move into today. Let's look at today. Today, as they say, is the bomb, because today is the time and the period in which you have choices to take actions. So yesterday is a history. Tomorrow's a mystery. Today is cash money. Today is reality. Someone once said that yesterday is a canceled check. Tomorrow's a promissory note. Today is cash money. Today is the moment we have direct influence over it through our choices and through our actions. With patience and time and thought and action, nothing is impossible. Every meaningful experience that you have in your life begins with what you do today. What you do today determines whether tomorrow will be fruitful or frightening, whether tomorrow will be abundant or racked with lack and limitation. And so as today, many of you have written books. This is probably the most book writing group in the country. By the way, Dr. Hankins' book was just released, GPS, God's Personalized Strategy for Your Finances. Can you imagine? Suppose she'd put it off another day, another week, another year. So your book begins with writing one page today. The business you want to build begins with taking action and making those calls and doing those things today that will create the desired outcome tomorrow. The body that you want to experience, the way you want your body to look depends on what you do today. Do you push away from the table? Do you do your exercises? There's a scripture that says, "This is the day that the Lord has made. Let us rejoice and be glad in it." If that's not a proscription, I don't know what it is. We're not about religion, but it's like spiritual principle and how spiritual principle can be used to direct and empower ourselves in our lives. The scripture didn't say yesterday, it didn't say tomorrow, it said today. So today is your power. Today is the power for you to transform who you are, what you're about, anything you desire into the tomorrow you want to live. Woo! Woo! That's powerful, folks. It's not whether you're white, black, tall, skinny. It's how committed you are to take consistent action today. You see, the power of today is not in the big actions, but it's in those consistent daily actions. Success is not a dramatic event. Success is created by the accumulation of small actions repeated consistently. That you write your daily plan every night. That you do your spiritual practice, your meditation. That you do your exercise in a consistent way. John Maxwell said, "You never change your life until you change something you do daily." I'll say that again. You never change your life until you change something that you do daily. So maybe you're daily sleeping a little longer than you should. Maybe you're not doing your meditation like you should. Maybe daily you run out of time. You have more stuff to do at the end of the day. You're not completing yourself with respect to the things you know you have to do to create the future life that you desire. When you can become a little bit better every day, there's a powerful affirmation, and it says, "Every day in every way, I get better and better." 1% improvement every day. Man, by the end of the year, you'll be a monster. You'll be achieving things you never thought were possible. And when you live that life in those daily activities, those systematic activities, you create a wave. Because energy builds on energy, builds on energy. It's like writing a song on the piano. You play C and it's okay, a beautiful sound. But now C and E, the two sound harmonic. But now C, E, and G, aha, you have a chord. Wow. It creates a whole different vibration in your life. So we become the farmers of life. We plant the seed of a dream and then we water it and then we cultivate it and we nurture it every day. When we look at life that way, then we can't take a day off. Think about it. When you're a farmer, when you're a gardener, one of the things you know is this: you must tend your garden, you must tend your farm every day. If you don't tend every day, the weeds will consume it. You don't have to plant weeds. Weeds are just a negative aspect of the universe resisting and coming up against the positivity that you create. But that's the nature of weeds, being weeds, doing what weeds do. Your choice is to eliminate the weeds, to water the seeds, to create the dream that you desire. Your dream, the life you want to experience, is right there. What I do repeatedly, I become. Just let's affirm that together. As a matter of fact, write that in the chat, those who are watching. Write that in the chat on the Zoom, those who are online. Write that in the comments. What I do repeatedly is what I become. That is the secret of life. Now let's look at the power of tomorrow. Tomorrow is an awesome power. There's a scripture that tells you a bit about tomorrow. The scripture says, where there is no vision, the people perish. And so tomorrow is about the land of possibility. Tomorrow gives us hope. Without tomorrow, there'd be no dreams. Without tomorrow, there'd be no vision. Without tomorrow, there'd be no goals. Without tomorrow, there'd be no reason to prepare. Wow. You see, tomorrow is the vision. The Habakkuk says, write the vision, make it plain upon tablets. Without a vision, there's no reason for hope. Without a vision. And many of us get stuck on the river of time because we have no destination in mind. We have no vision of what we want our life to be like. The moment you create a vision, and that's in your power of choice. The moment you take the time and create the vision you want for you, for your life, nothing is impossible. Helen Keller said, keep your face to the sunshine, the vision, and you cannot see the shadows. Tomorrow invites us to look beyond our limitations. Wow. Tomorrow is that dream. Dr. King, in 1963, I was blessed to be a young college student, and I was there at the March on Washington. And I heard Dr. King's speech. And, they say 250,000. There were at least 500,000 people there. I've been to many of those main events, and none of them has been that big. And the most amazing thing about it is when he spoke, you could hear it as though he was standing right there next to you. And when he said, I have a dream, think about that. Just the statement of a dream. And when he laid out that dream became the marching orders for the next generation. How powerful are your dreams? How powerful is the vision that you have of what you want your life to be? When you lay that out, nothing is impossible. Just as Dr. King's dream was about a dream of a better tomorrow, a more just tomorrow, a righteous tomorrow, your dream can be exactly the way that way for you. Your dream could be how you want to be as a person, what you want to do as a person, the impact you want to have on the world as a person. And when your dream is really big, you begin to see the reason for your creation, what you bring to the world that transforms the world and makes the world a better place. The power of the dream is that, and the power of the future is that it pulls you forward. In the scripture, it always talks about the promised land. The symbolism of coming out of darkness, Egypt, going to the promised land, is that you must always have a place that you want to go. That right now, if you're floundering in your life, it's because you don't see the vision of what you want to be, do, or have. That once you see that vision and put the time invested into creating and seeing that vision in great detail, it becomes a magnet pulling you towards tomorrow. Dreams pull you forward. Goals give you direction. Vision creates energy. Think about this. The moment you form a picture in your mind's eye, in your imagination of what you want your life to be, you create a vibration that goes out to the universe, just like that rock in the water creates concentric circles. The moment you can crystallize the dream that you want to be, the vision of the life you want to live by design, it creates the energy that manifests it. And the determination and strength by which you hold on to that vision determines how quickly it will manifest. The principle says, write the vision, make it plain upon tablets, that he may run that readeth it. Without a vision, you can't make a plan. Now, this is the powerful point. The vision is yet for an appointed time. When you have a vision, your vision has a life of its own. It's a vibration of its own. So it has a season and a cycle of its own. So when the bamboo tree farmer has a vision of a bamboo tree that's 60 feet high, that's 80 feet high, for the 5 years, he doesn't see anything grow. It's that vision that keeps him watering the ground. It's that vision that keeps him pulling up the weeds. Your vision, when you hold fast to your vision, it creates a vibration that clears the way for its manifestation. When you become committed to your vision and your purpose become one, that gives you the power to persevere. That gives you the power to say, I'm willing to do whatever it takes, for as long as it takes, until I make my life exactly the way I want it to be. So let's put it all together. Tomorrow's important, but it can be a danger if you live only in tomorrow. You see, it's the balance between yesterday, today, and tomorrow that gives you the blueprint for life. Some people get stuck in I'll. Someday I'll start. Someday I'll write the book. Someday I'll launch the business. Someday I'll pursue the dream. Someday never comes. In network marketing, they used to say, I'll do it when I get around to it. Well, you never see around to it. Ben Franklin said, don't put off until tomorrow what you can do today. Your future is not an accident. It's a construction project. You are creating the tomorrow you want to experience by your thoughts that you manifest today, by the emotions that give you the fire in your belly, by your habits, those daily routines that give you a rhythm for success, by your actions, what you actually do, by your associations, the people you permit to come into your space. So this idea now, the blueprint for life, is about balancing it. A successful life requires balance. Balance where we learn from yesterday. We constantly analyze and we commit to get better. Balance where we live for today, where we're committed to do it now, to stay focused, to stay diligent, to stay humble, to always realize that we are able to do what we do because of the Creator's expression through us. Prepare for tomorrow in great detail, laying it out. Too much of yesterday produces regret. Too much of tomorrow produces anxiety. Too little attention to the present creates stagnation. So yesterday gives us wisdom, today gives us opportunity, and tomorrow gives us hope. And so, as we complete this day, we remember 3 simple truths. That yesterday is your teacher, to learn from it, but release it. That today is your workshop. It gives you opportunity to choose and to take action. Tomorrow is your destination, the vision, the hope that keeps you going. The power of today is where I want us to focus, because the success of today comes through those small actions repeated consistently. You'll never change your life until you change your daily activities, your daily routine, the proper rest, detailed planning, execution, review, analysis, a commitment to improve, to get better, so that every day, in every way, you get better and better. And so I close with this. Let us, from this moment forward, learn the lessons of yesterday, critically analyze where we have been. Let us seize the opportunities of today, so that from moment to moment we ask ourselves, what is the best use of our time? Right now, when I consider my goals, my vision, and my purpose, and where we boldly permit ourselves to dream big, bigger than the obstacles that appear, to dream big, bigger than all the limitations that the world puts on you, to dream big, knowing that nothing is impossible. You can be what you want to be, you can do what you want to do, and you can have anything you desire when you create the balance between today, between yesterday, today, and tomorrow, and use that balance to create the blueprint for your life, so that you can live a life by design, creating it exactly the way you want it to be, always knowing that the best is yet to come. So it is. Just take a deep breath for a moment. Thank you so much for being with us today. Those of you on Instagram, on YouTube, of course, our group here, our mastermind group. These words have been really touching my heart, because it just tells us we have so much power in the now to create the future we desire once we know what it is. I invite you to visit our website, herbertharris.com. Those on Instagram, go to our profile. And I challenge you, now that you know this connection between yesterday and tomorrow, yesterday, today, and tomorrow, what is your tomorrow? I invite you to reach out to us. Go to our website, herbertharris.com. There are many tools and courses there, the new you for the new year, the success toolbox. That if you're at that point in your life where you want to know what's next, schedule a complimentary success consultation. You have the power to create the life of your dreams. Sometimes you may need a little guidance and a little help, but the fact that you reach out and touch makes all the difference. So those of you online, always know that you can be what you want to be, do what you want to do, and have anything you desire, always knowing that the best is yet to come. This is Dr. Herbert Harris. Visit us at herbertharris.com and know that you live your life by design and not circumstance. So it is.